And good evening, everybody. Excuse me, let me try that again. Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Where is my display capture? 1 second, folks. There we go. There we're at. That's better. We are all here, obviously, for the amazing second part of the live reading of Moon Daughter, the greatest fanfic of all time. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. To be honest with you folks, not feeling great tonight, so I might cut it short. If that happens, I'm sorry, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll only go to like 10 chapters, but if I'm feeling fine, we'll try and do 20 again. So, yeah. Let's see what y'all been saying in the chat so far. Are there any vampires in this universe connected to any pantheon at all? Yeah, I remember in the Percy Jackson books, there were creatures called impusas, and I don't know if they sucked blood, but they, according to the books at least, were kind of like an inspiration for vampire legends later. So, yeah, impusas are the closest thing you'll get. Someone answered that already. Grand Moff Tarkin, thank you. Yeah, we're going to wait another 5 minutes for people to trickle in, but once that happens, we will be good to go. But yeah, we stopped here. Chapter 20. Oh boy. I was also filming the review portion of my upcoming video that's gonna hopefully upload. I want to say Friday or Saturday, hopefully. And I'll tell you guys right now who it is. We are revisiting an old friend whose work I reviewed in the past. If y'all can guess who that author might be, I'd love to hear your guesses. Hello, Nefarious Anglerfish. How are you? Good luck. Yep, thank you. Appreciate it. Not a good sign when I'm already sipping. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lisa. What is it? Well, listen, it's an author I reviewed on this channel already. I'll just say that much. And no, it is not Billy. I don't consider Billy an author. Someone more well-received. Yeah, definitely more well-received, that's for sure. Me, I'm doing, personally, I'm doing all right. Like I think I said before, feeling a little out of it today because I had a busy day. So I might only go to like 10 or 15 chapters instead of 20, but rest assured we will finish this up in subsequent streams, so I'm committed to doing this. Nick Cutter? No, I wish. I kind of want to find a reason to talk about The Deep, because that is one of the most legitimately, like, upsetting books I've ever read. But I'll have to think of a good angle. I would like to talk about The Deep, though. I have to reread it, because it's been like a year or so since I read it, but that book still haunts me. The Deep. He also has other books about, like, you know, messed up biological enemies. I think there's one called The Queen, I think, about insects. Take all the time you need, health always comes first. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Woo, we back at it. Yes, we are. Thank you very much. We're going to start at about 7:30, a little after 7:30, just to wait for people to trickle in. Yep. Is the author still? Yeah, no, he's definitely still alive. Like I said, I talked about him on my channel before, one of my more popular videos. So, An author I have a lot of grudging admiration for, if that helps. Len, the more you keep asking that, the less inclined I am to check it out. I hope you know that. Definitely not Derek Savage. I don't know. I don't know what he's. You know what he's been up to these days? Actually, he's been making like AI covers, AI like generated images of his own like Cool Cat movies. Damn! I hope it's Quan Mills. You got it. It's Quan Mills, everybody. Next review coming up on the channel is for a second Quan Mills book. I am very excited for that one. I like I said, I filmed the review portion earlier today, and it's gonna be a good one, folks. I'm excited for it. Everyone's like, oh god, everyone's excited. Cannot wait to talk about Quan Mills again. You know that guy, his freaking book is getting a Tubi adaptation? Oh, this hoe got roaches in her crib. Got picked up by Tubi. They're making a film adaptation of it. He announced it on his TikTok. How scuffed is the title for this one? I believe it is called Old Thought Next Door. And the cover art is beautiful, a work of art for sure. Yeah. Yeah. This Hoga Roaches in her crib. That's one of those like meme covers that you see, but Old Thought Next Door is another one of those you probably will have seen. So, all right, let's give it another two minutes or so, and we're gonna start. Won't give much of a intro this time because y'all are obviously here for the amusement as usual. Yep. I might need more bourbon if the pain becomes too much. I wonder how much that'll sell. He seemed pretty happy about it, I'll give him that. So he probably got a good deal for it. And honestly, God bless him. So freaking Quan Mills. If anyone deserves success, it's him. Okay. All right, give it another minute or so, then we'll start the reading. I have multiple drinks with me this time because last time, I don't know if you could tell, my throat started to dry out really bad around chapter 16 or so. I almost had to stop and like take a break because it just hurt too much to talk. Yes, Quan Mills episode 2 going to be peak for real. Quan Mills books will make a decent surreal comedy, definitely. We finished chapter 20. We're about to go on to chapter 21. So yes, that's correct. Hello, Skull Skill 77. How you doing? All right, so I think that is about it. We are going to start now. So, folks, as y'all remember, y'all are here for the follow-up of the Moondaughter live reading, which I am both scared and excited to continue. When we left off, Flavia Maya Lilith Knight, the greatest protagonist of all time, she and her harem of boys had just liberated Nox City and are waiting for the arrival of Kornos' army. So, that was chapter 20, which we ended at last time. Now I move on to Chapter 21. The Big Battle Fight. Wonderful. Kornos came on the hill like a Ferris monster. Like a what? But like 666 times sexier. He was wearing black and gold armor that was all ripped so you can see his quartz. That's like a white crystal. Pale muscles. He waved a scythe menacingly. "I will kill all you fucking preps," he yelled. I was horrified at this, because obvious I was not a prep, because I was wearing ripped black skinny jeans and a leather jacket with a skull zipper and dark eyeliner the color of crescent moon earrings and skull earrings to represent the monsters I kill. But then all the monsters ran towards me. I pulled out Agamemnon's sharp blade and castigated a Minotaur. It screamed in solid pain. Then I grabbed a big axe that was laying by a tree and cut him in small pieces. "Kawaii! Kawaii!" yelled an Impusa in Japanese, but I shot an arrow in its heart and I knew it was dead. Somebody shot an arrow at me, but it bounced off because I was wearing tiger skin. I turned to see it was standing there. "Kronos! You bastard prep fucker," I said, throwing my axe at him, but a telekine got in the way by mistake, and it cleaved him in halves. But then Percy came running with his big sword Ruptide that was acutely a pen. "Die, Kronos!" he yelled sexily, stabbing Kornos in the ankles. "No, you bastard!" I yelled, but it was too late. Kornos yelled, "The big word!" It was undescribable, so I can't write it down, but it was the worst word anyone ever heard in the life, and 6 hunteresses dropped dead just because they heard it. Jesus. Kornos laughed meanly. "That was the first half of the word. Of I find the other half, I will kill the gods in Olympus, and I will be invisible. No one can stop me." Then he missed it away. There was no time to fight him, because there was too many monsters. I shot a whole bunch of them dead with bows and arrows. Then all my arrows were run out, so I sapped them with Agamemnon and swung Telmelchus with dead force and cut monsters into many-sized pieces. I took the axe and cut a lot of monsters because I was spinning in a circle really fast. Where they were all dead, I decided I would keep this axe and name it Achilles. Get it? Like, I killed these. Ooh. Still better writing than the movies. You know, it's really insulting because, like, Chris Columbus directed the Percy Jackson movie. He also directed the first Harry Potter movie, which is one of the most, like, true to the source material adaptations of all time. So where did he go wrong with this? Anyway. It was a mighty weapon marked from monster blood on the handle, which was black leather, and the blade was all silver with a crescent moon and an Mayus sign. Then there were no monsters left because the corpuds all turned into dust and was sucked into Tartarus like a vacuum cleaner of death. I saw something on the ground. It was Alabaster, except he was dead. Wow, way to reveal that. I was happy because the monster claws ripped his jacket. Under it I could see a Hollister shirt. He was prep all the time, to stupid poser. What? Alabaster was a prep this whole time? A traitor to the cause. Good lord. Anyways, he was dead, and I didn't like him anymore, but I cried one single silver tear because we made out that once I burned his corpus. Suddenly, there was a sliver glow in the sky. Everyone stopped and looked at it, and it was the silverest light in the world. I knew right away it was Artemis. Here she comes. Chapter 22. Artemis Vision. Artemis misted in front of my sliver eyes. She was pale and very hot, way better looking than Aphrodite. Some people said Aphrodite was the hottest of the gods, but she bribed them with magic gold apples that brainwashed your mind so you turn into a lying prep. Artemis had long black hair, all stringy like a ghost, and with silver streaks and some purple blue on the ends. It went all the way to her round, firm butt. This girl's 15, by the way, and she's lusting over Artemis. Disgusting. Her face was pale and white, but her lips were red as a rose, with blood sprayed on it. But not 'cause she used lipstick. It was all naturel. And she had black eyeliner, which she was born with. Her eyes were big and silver like mine, with long eyelashes. She was wearing a silver iron bikini made from armor and bones of the unfortunate men. See, Artemis hates men. She's not OOC. Okay, maybe I'm too old. I don't know what... Is this like a meme or something? What does OOC mean? Oh, yes, Artemis... Oh, I completely fucking forgot Artemis is her mother, so she's really, like, lusting over her mother. Which is gross. I don't even know what kind of complex that is. What is it called? Someone please dig up Sigmund Freud's grave and ask him what's it called when a daughter competes for the sexual attention of her mother. Out of character. Thank you very much. That's the first time I've heard it that way. Thank you. Silence, thou fools, she said to the hunteresses. I have a prophecy for Flavia's ears. I listened close, and she said, Kornos found half the word of death, but there is a bigger word thou must find it first before Kronos, 'cause then thou can crush his word with the new and mystic word of deep death. How can I find it? I said, crying silver tears of BT and joyful from seeing Artemis, finally, but also because Kronos knew of the word of death and the quest was going to be harder now. It's written in the Roman camp, she explained wisely, but thou can only use the deep death word if you are a virgin with no BF and no making out. No, but I love her, said Percy, all sexily. Artemis' eyes flashed. Fuck thou, she yelled. There was more sliver light, and she missed it away again like a lighting expulsion. Fuck thou! That's an amazing line. I leaned on a tree and sate her to cry, silver clear tears running down my face. Now I knew Percy and Nico would never join me in love, 'cause the turquoise storm of being an internal virgin spread over me like a kiss of a telkine. Not like I know what that feels like, you perv. I know where the Roman camp is, said Nico sagely. Then we will quest, I nodded with a porv. Since you can only have 3 on a quest, I said, I will go with Percy and Nico. Anyways, Ivy became a huntress because she hated men now. So she's back to life and is now a huntress. I got all my weapons ready to kill. Also a sliver-plated gun that was a gift from Artemis. It had like 10 million bullets. Then I put on a black ripped skirt with a thick belt with silver studs and an Evanescence t-shirt that showed my belly button. Last, I put on some black gloves with no fingers. It was nighttime when we left, but my crescent tat glowed in the dark so I could see where I was going. Percy was wearing some eyeshadow, so his eyes looked sunk with dark circles under them in a pale face. His bangs covered up one of his eyes, but the other was green and evil and hot. Nico was wearing all black leather too, also a skull necklace with eyes that lighted up red. We were all pale and dark and sexy. Ooh. Again, they're like 15. Nico's like 13 or 14, by the way, too. It's okay to talk about if he's a male, though. Not when he's a female. When we walked, I took my iPod and got some My Chemical Romance going on. Jesus. Suddenly, Nico took out some stuff from his pocket. They were cigarettes. We smoked them, and then we watched a dark R-rated movie downloaded from my iPod. It was probably the 2013 remake of Carrie. How much you want to bet? In the end, everybody got killed, and it was depressing, and I liked it. Definitely 2013's carry. 10 ice targeted shot a tree until it crumbed up from the magic. My aim was now deathly. 10 I fell asleep. Wow. Another author's note by Hannah. You guys say that's sick. You don't know the darkness and depravity of real life. It's not all fairy tale rainbow unicrons. If you can't handle this, then that's your problem. How old is the author and how old is the target audience for this? I want to say, like, assuming this was written in earnest, I want to say she's probably, like, I'm going to guess, like, 14, maybe 13. You know, I was telling Outsvoid this. We were talking about the fanfic. He was saying, like, you know, it's not realistic that like a teenage girl would write this. And I said something like, look up the girls who did the Slender Man stabbing in Wisconsin. They're the kind of people who would write this crap. I still watch the interrogation footage of those two because it is, like, actually really scary. Look it up if you can, like the full uncut 2-hour video, the interrogation footage of the Slender Man stabbing girls. So, yeah. Anyway, that was my rant for about that. Really good shit. 23, The Prophecy of 7. I woke up with 2 hot guys next to me. Of course, they were Nevo and Percy Jackson. We weren't doing it or anything because I needed to be a virginal to use my Mayus powers. But that didn't stop me from copping a feel on Percy's 8-pack. Acutely, he was pretty hot under his shirt. He tattooed himself all over for practice. There were dragons of fire and leopards and one of me. What? I blushed when I saw this. Percy, you're so sweet and sensitive. When I said this, Nico went behind some trees and cried tears of smoke. Smoke 'cause he was a ghost. Also, he was smoking hot. Get it? We were walking in the woods when a big ship walked up, and there were 5 dame gods on it. Jason, who was a blonde prep man, but could be saved to dark side if you loved him. That's actually accurate. I hate Jason. He's such a boring character. Piper, a Aphrodite perp and a slut clearly. Frank, this fat Asian guy. And Hazel, a beautiful gothic girl from Hades with black lipstick and eyeliner and an Evanescence t-shirt with metal studs in an X shape. Also a pale short guy. Leo was so full of depression tat it shined from his eyes like darkness. Then my heart steeled its sleth in solid hate. Annabeth was there too, looking at whorish makeup catalogs with Piper. They were giggling at a slutty poto of Thurston McLean naked man butt. Oh no. Oh, that's the part. I pulled out the lightning of Zeus. Who are you and why are you doing in the woods? We're on a prophecy, explained Jason. It said 7 dame gods will save the world, and we can only find 5. I will join this prophecy, I declared proudly. And Percy and Nico, too. Jason frowned. This wouldn't work. There can only be 7. I will challenge one of the weakling preps to take their place, I said. Piper snitted. Yeah, whatever. And pulled out her stupid mirror knife. See, because all Aphrodites need their mirrors all the time so they can look at their slutty makeup. She prepared to fight, but I laughed in her blonde face. Piper is Cherokee. She's not a blonde. Whatever. Suddenly I jumped on her, not in a sexly way, and bit my Impusa teeth in her neck and sucked out all her powers, so now I could do charm speak, but she was immortal with no powers. 10, I hit her on the head and she was knocked out. See, Flava's not evil, she doesn't kill. And I stepped into my rightful place in the ship. Leo eyes glowed darkly with admiration. You're truly a great warrior. What's your number? I mean, name, he blushed in tones of death. He had a wicked tongue piercing I could see when he spoke of pain. My full name is Flavia Maya Lilith Knight, I said. Hazel smirked wisely. I've wanted to do that to Piper the slut. She fucking deserved to die. Why didn't you kill her all the way? It's not the way of Artemis. I shook my head darkly but wisely. But I will kill her if she gives me another chance and she makes me. I knew in my heart now that Hazel was my new BFF forever. OMG, you're a daughter of Artemis, Hazel yelled. You're the only one ever. I bet all the other dame gods are jealous. I nodded. It is a dark and lonely path. To curse of Artemis, I saw it in your eyes, she said. Annabeth was jealous, so she glared at us, but we both flipped her off, and she ran away crying. Apparently, like, doing one of these is, like, the most awful thing in the world. Well, I hate to interrupt, but where are we going? Said Leo. I told them about the word of death and the Roman camp. They agreed they would help me if I led their quest. Hello, everyone. A lot of new folks coming in. How y'all doing? We're in the middle of this. We're in the middle of chapter 23. I named the ship Night Death Arrow, and we flew on the way towards the Roman camp. Great. We're going to be seeing we're going to get the characters from Heroes of Olympus getting the treatment now. I'm actually in the middle of reading that series. I'm in the middle of Mark of Athena right now. I still think the first book is the worst. Son of Neptune was a lot better. Mark of Athena is a little worse, but still good. Anyway, another author's note from Hannah. Lol, haters, I have like 666,666,666 views. That means many fans, so proved wrong in your jealousy and racist hate. 24. My heart speaks. I had my own cabin on the ship. It had black satin curtains and a bed with curtains all around it, with silver frame parts. It used to be Piper's actually, so before I made it black, I had to get rid of the pink first. And all the butt-naked pics of Tristan McLean and some other preppy loser actors like Brad Pitt and Justin Bieber. Also Amy Adams, the blonde horse. Oh my god. What did poor Amy Adams do? Oh my god. Oh. Oh my lord. 10, I got dressed in a black tank top with purple writing that said one simple word. Death. Except it was dark purple, not the slutty pink kind. And I put on some really dark red jeans that were the exact right color as blood. Then, cause I was part Impusa, I got 30 for human blood. So I snuck in Annabeth's room where she was sleeping and sucked some blood from her, but not a lot because I wasn't a socopath. See that, haters? Then I was full, so I finished getting dressed with black boots with sliver buckles on them and a black leather jacket with a skeleton on the front. Lastly, I put on red lipstick that matched my jeans and some very dark purple eyeliner, and one earring that was red and shaped like a drop of human. Other earring was white like a weeping pearl. It matched because I had a white streak in my hair. I was filled with the energy of the universal, so I stood on one of the things sticking out from the mast of the ship, and I moshed with the wind like a free wild Ravon of the Leafs. Hazel came and joined me as we moshed in silence for a while, and Leo watched us from below because he was a playa, not a perv, because he was too hot. Frank was fat and Canada. So he tried to mosh, but fell off the ship, but I saved his Canadan ass with Telemelchus. Poor Frank. He gets all the shit. Oh my lord. Then Annabeth came on the ship all green, cause she didn't know she was missing some blood from her prep-infueled arteries. Piper was there too. Actually, Piper was not born blonde, but she dyed her hair in her slutty desire for false beauty. They were both wearing a ton of makeup and their nails were dyed pink. They glared at me and they were armed. I laughed because they both had small knives that paled in compare to Agamemnon. Get it? Pale like Nevo? Jason was driving the ship, so he wasn't there, but Percy and Nico walked up to me and said hi. Annabeth glared now, because now that Percy was hot, she wished she didn't dump him, but it was too late. Percy's eyes glinted evilly behind his dark bangs. Hey, want some Amberosa? He gave me some, and then I said, so what's like the Roman camp? Well, it's full of, mostly it's full of posers. But some know the dark arts, Percy explained smartly. You can stay at their big cabin for Artemis. But he said this so sexily that I leaned in to kiss. But I saw Nico crying sensitively into sunset on the ship, all dark and alone. My heart was swallowed alive by a black hole of darkness. When Alabaster died, the lying bastard, I thought it would be simply now because Nico would be my only BF. But now my heart's got pulled towards Percy like a string of night silver to the source of misty cloud beams. It's starting to sound like Artemis Blue for a second here. I did not want to break up Nico's heart, but I didn't want to break my heart either by breaking up with Percy. But the glowing words of Artemis sat over me like a storm, that I could have no BF. Would I be alone forever? Hazel saw my Hazel saw my eyes bristle up with tears of quicksilver. What's wrong, Flavia? I'm having guy trouble, I confessed. My heart is drawn to Percy, but I love Nico too, and Artemis says I won't live forever if I'm not a virgin forever. The important thing is you must follow your heart, Flava. What does it tell you? Said Hazel wisely. I shook my head as tears ran down my pale face. My heart is confused and silent. It gives no replies. Then you must trust it, said Hazel. You must let your heart choose your path. But it's so unclear, I yelled. You have a wise destiny that the prophecy spoke will not be unfuffled, said Hazel. Artemis can't run your life. Only you must choose the path that shows the path of your fate, for your heart. But I'm here only to help you. It was sunset, and the sun died a million deaths in red explosions while I made my choice, Nico or Percy. I listened to my heart to obey its commands, but it writhed in inner turmoil, and my heart sunk as I knew I might never understand my heart fully. Chapter 25. Kornos attacks. Suddenly we were by a mall by the Roman camp. It was a big consumerist-filled mall, except it had one streak of worthness. There was a Hot Topic there! Holy fucking shit! Annabeth and Piper squealed with the joy of the preps and went to shop some stupid pink Coach purses, but I went right to Hot Topic with Percy and Hazel and Leo. Jason stayed in the ship to drive, and Frank didn't like malls because he was fat and Asian. Oh my god. Oh. What is with her casual attitude towards Frank? Like, why the Frank hatred? Now, granted, Frank's not the most interesting character, but why? What? Fat and Asian. What a fucking joke. Now I had charm speak, so I went to the guy at the counter and said, "My stuff is all free." And he said, "Your stuff is all free." So that was good. So I got some fuck yeah canvas high tops that were black. Hazel got Demonia Attack 10 boots. Also, I got Demonia Tesla lace-up boots with spiky heels. Lastly, Hazel got red Demonia Crypto Gear boots that had skulls and were so fucking gothic. Hazel was gothical, so she wanted to show me the ways of the gothics. 10 me and Hazel looked at the dress part. Hazel got a hell bunny dress that was black and had cherry skulls. I got a black mesh maxi dress that was sexy and not slutty. Suddenly Hazel told me to take off my clothes. What? Hazel! And Hazel, by the way, is like 12 to 13. I think she's like 12. "OMG, you need to try on this one," she said. It was a corset dress that was all silver with black crescent moons on the skirt part. I bought it at once. Then we went to see Percy and Leo because they were guys, and guys are shitty shoppers. Now that I agree with. I helped 10 pick out some wicked hot clothes and stuff. They got some black Vans and some tight jeans and some MCR and Rites of Spring and Evanescence T-shits. T-shits. Suddenly we gasped in horror. A hot blonde guy was browsing the rude jeans. He had golden glow eyes and a big Sith from metal. It was Kornos. He laughed like the dead. I took my gun with sliver bullets and shot him like 60 times, but he was hard like rock, and the bullets bounced off him like Superman, who's a total prep, by the way. Batman rocks. I can abide by that, Hannah. Thank you. So we all ran outside and jumped on the ship and flew away. When Kronos came to torture us, we weren't there. I'm not racist. Hazel is black, and she's Flava's BFF. Anyways, my mom is Canadan, so I don't hate Canadans. So I'm like 20 per cant Canadan, okay? Jesus Christ. Chapter 26. Poshions of Love. I put on my new outfit from Hot Topic and I looked sexily. I was wearing the corset dress and the high tops. Also skull earrings and a pair of stag earrings. I had 4 piercings, 2 in each ear. Also I had cartilage ones with arrows that were silver. Hazel put on her hell bunny dress and her gear were mysterious and so fucking sexily. She's 12! She is 12! Piper and Annabeth went shopping also, but their stuff was consumerist and lame. They had pink and light purple purses and clothes and stuff. Piper was a slutty sneaking klepto, so she tried to use charm speak on to store people, but she had no power anymore, so they called the cops, but ran away from the cops, and now they were on the ship. Leo and Percy were looking at us, but not Annabeth and Piper. Annabeth snitted jealously at her dye, and she dyed her hair light pink highlights, and it was artificial. Ugh. Yeah, well, Percy's not hot anyways, she lied like a fucking whore. Anyways, I like Jason cause he's blonde and hot. Jason was wearing a prep sweater, but I did not kick him cause I could see there was a dark pain in his blue eyes like a melting ice cube into Arctic seas. Frank was Asian, but he was not fat. See, I'm not racist. Well, all you people calling Hannah racist 5 minutes ago, I bet y'all feel really stupid right now. You should be ashamed. Everyone shame them in the chat right now. All the frickin' accusers thinking that Hannah was some kind of, like, racist. Shame in the chat. And he wasn't gothic, but he didn't know better because there was no Hot Topic in Canada where he lived. So I got onto site with his phone and told him to look at it. Soon he converted to the dark. He put on a black coal and he was kinda hot. Then we watched To Dark Knight, the one with Joker. Except Annabeth watched High School Musical 1, 2, and 3. 10 we talked about Kornos, and I cried sliver tears at the memories. We must find the word of power, I said resolutely. We must kill Kornos as well, Frank said wisely. Tears streamed over my pale cheeks. But I loved Luke before he died and got repossessed. Yeah, but this is not Luke, this is Kronos, explained Hazel. When he is killed, Luke will rest in peace in Elysium. I nodded determinedly. Yes, we'll do that. Suddenly, Aphrodite misted onto the screen. Where is Piper? I heard my daughter got in trouble with the fucking police. Piper started crying, but Aphrodite said, What happened? And Piper said, I was trying to charm speak, but the stupid police came. Aphrodite shook her head. You do not have charm speak anymore. Flavia took it from you, and she is more powerful because she is the daughter of Mayus. She gave me a love potion box. If you give Piper her charm speak back, you can have this for a trade. I knew Piper's charm speak wouldn't work on me anyway because Aphrodite powers couldn't hurt me, so I said, fine, and she missed it away. Here we go. That same night, I put the love potion in the air in the preppy cabin, and they went insane from love, so Piper and Annabeth started having a threesome with Beaufort. Beaufort is Leo's robot table. I took pictures with my iPod and fucking posted them online. She spells it Beaufort. Annabeth saw this, and she tried to garb the iPod, but it was too late. How dare you, insipid slut, she yelled. You fucking posted that online? I laughed. Now the whole earth will know of your whoreness. Annabeth started to cry, all snivelly. No! Delete them and I'll give you anything! OMG! I laughed. Give me your invisible hat. And she did. 10 I deleted the pics because, 1 million people saw them anyways. Oh. That's just the part that gets me. The fact that she treats, two, underage girls having a threesome with an enchanted table as just a thing that happens in the story. It's just nothing. It's just nothing. Ugh. Anyway. Oh, here we go! Guys, here we go! This is where Haley comes in. Okay, so my BFF Haley was beta for this chapter. Haley-san, you rock! Haley rocks, people. Rocks SS. That's the proof that Haley's a freaking Nazi. She committed revenge porn to get an invisible hat. True. Chapter 27. The Roman Camp. The next morning we got to the Roman camp. It was called New Rome, and it had a lot of stuff like houses that were marbled and white, and a elephant, and to my eternal ecstasy, a hot topic, which was the only black building in my sight. I feel a kindred fellowship connection with this building, explained Hazel. Not because she was black, because she was gothic. Hannah's still not racist. You freaking witch hunters, you freaking cancel culture witch hunters. I too felt a love for this building, but this was not a sexually love because I was not a objectophiliac. P.S. Haley Googled this. It is a name for when you want to do it with lamps or cabins or weapons. I liked the Hot Topic because it sold the clothes that I liked. I was wearing these clothes now, but I will not describe them. If you don't remember what they looked like, read in chapter 25. There were lots of people walking in the street in New Rome. None of them were very hot. Well, there was a girl called Reyna who was hot, but I was not gay, so I did not see her. All the people pointed up at us. "It's an enemy ship! It must burn in flames!" yelled a girl with no name. She was obviously a poser. A couple of her friends got a bag full of flaming arrows and started throwing them at us. I grabbed my silver-plated handgun from Artemis and started to shoot silver bullets at them. About 6 or 8 preps fell, but they were only wounded because I didn't shoot to kill, because I am not an evil killer. They writhed in pain and I smiled. A mega hot guy ran from Hot Topic in a leather toga robe that was shiny and black. He had blonde hair, but it was dyed with red streaks of scarlet. My heart told me that. This was not a poser. "Stop shooting, you fucking losers," he commanded the preppy girls. They obeyed him because he was an authority in charge of the Romanian camp. Oh god, now it's a Romanian camp with, like, you know, freaking, like... Whatever, I'm not going to finish that sentence. "OMG," I yelled. He looked just like Luke, except his eyes were not Kornos gold. "But you said to destroy any ships that come because Greeks are evil," one of the girls said to the guy, and the guy's name was Octavius. "Well, at first I did, because strangers are evil and plot our demise. But this girl is different," he said, pointing at me. "I just sacrificed a fucking Pinkie Pie, and when his guts spilled forth on the temple of the gods, I saw a strange boat that would fly us to a warrior of the gods, the most powerful demigod of the age." I knew he spoke about me, so I jumped off the ship railing. It was like a 50-foot drop, but I lived because I landed like a ninja. I stood by him and explained, "We want the word to defeat Kornos." Author's note. Don't insult my BFF. That's mean. Apparently people did not like Haley's beta reading. What led them to that conclusion? Chapter 28. Betrayed. Octavius helped us look for the word of power. We all split up in teams. It was like this. Leo and Hazel, Percy and Frank, and Piper and Annabeth, and me and Jason. My heart lunged to be at Percy's side, but Octavius took my hand and pulled me to a temple where we started looking. "Jason, hurry up," he yelled. But suddenly he had lights of murder in his eyes when he gazed at the brony plushes snarking from Jason's backpack. I saw them too, and my blood froze like ice swimming in my arteries. I gasped, "Jason, you are a fucking brony?" Oh no. Jason's a brony now, apparently. His eyes misted in horror. "Don't tell, it would destroy my prestige. They're not ready to know of my dark secret." "But why?" I insisted, but I couldn't hate him when I saw he was speaking from the top of his heart. "I identify with the ponies. They are leaders in the heart, but their lives are colorful and adventures. And sometimes evil tries to destroy the world, but they fight with brave power," Jason explained to me. Suddenly I realized that he spoke the truth. A coral tear flew across my face as my heart understood his heart. Octavius yelled, "Enough! You are speaking like an addle plate." What the fuck is an addle plate? "And it is my duty to expose you to all the demigods of camp." He grabbed the My Little Pony stuffed animal and slitted its throat. Cotton white like ice and bones fell on the ground at his feet. Its lifeless eyes stared and saw no more. Jason grabbed his neck like his throat was slitted. I bet you step on kittens too, you fucking murderer/thief. I stared in horror. Who would I believe? Octavius was hot and confident, and filled with sexually wrath. But Jason's heart was broken and he was sensitive. He would be destroyed and spit on if they knew he was a brony. Octavius laughed with arrogance. Now how about we make a deal, like a trade? If I don't tell you about your secret to the world, you must kill Zeus. What? What the fuck? I looked at him and the wisdom of Artemis cleared my brain and I could see he was actually evil and ugly. It was just a shallow charm shield that went around him like a bubble and made him look good and hot. Yes, you must go to Olympus and stick this stake through his heart. Octavius gave me a sharp stake made all from silver. You work with Kronos, I said, because now I could guess the truth. You're smart, but not as smart as me, he lied sarcastically. Yeah, well, if you tell them Jason is a brony, no one will believe you, I explained. Octavius sneered meanly. If you do that, then I will kill Hazel with a gun. He opened a door in the temple, and in the darkness torture chamber inside, I could see that Hazel was tied to a chair with rope and chains, and a gun was pointing at her. No, it's too dangerous to kill Zeus. He is the powerful of the gods, said Jason, but I knocked him out on the head so he wouldn't interfere. It was for his safety. Then I glared at Octavius in anger like burning leaves in a fire. Okay, I have no choice. When I walked away so he couldn't see me, I busted into tears. Liquid silver flowed on my face. What was the plot again? Flavia's trying to find the word to defeat the Word of Death before Kronos finds the Word of Death. But she's in the Roman camp now. And they're trying to look for the word to defeat the Word of Death. So. Oh, here we go. Author's note. I said Haley rocks ass. The stupid site took away the swirly letter A thing. I never said she's not a Nazi. Nazis are bad and evil and they're all dead anyway. Oof, that did not age well. Anyway, if you think this is a bad story, then write your own story so you don't insult my story. I think I will, Hannah. It's called Hell's Gulf, available on any digital bookstore. P.S. Haley beta read this one too. I wrote it, but she fixed the spelling and stuff. Chapter 29. Death in Olympus. Tears dripped sadly on the silver stake in my hand. I needed to prepare and go kill Zeus. I didn't want to kill him, but I had no choice, because if I didn't, then Octavius would kill Hazel. I took a big hammer of oakish wood to hammer the stake. Also, I took Agamemnon, Telemachus, Achilles, Dracaena's Doom, and my sliver-plated handgun and some garlic just in case. Is Zeus a vampire? Lastly, I put on a black leather dress. I was ready to kill. It was like 5 minutes to walk to Olympus. Tears fell in my footprints. Actually, it was raining and the sky was all gray and dark with depression. I didn't want for Zeus to die, but this was the only way that was open for me, and I must follow my heart. I climbed in the dark elevator, all the way up to Olympus. It played depressing songs with depressing words. Also, I was wearing high heels with poisoned knives for the heels. That's actually kind of cool. In my heart, I felt like a traitor. Zeus opened the elevator. Who dares come to Olympus, thou mortal carrion? What? He didn't know I had the weapons because he couldn't see I hid them in my bra. I'm here to visit my mom, Artemis, I lied sexily. Also, the blessing of Artemis went on me, so I got really sexy. Also, I got 18, so it's legal to seduce Zeus. Well, that just makes everything okay, I guess, right? Yeah, well, she's not home, said Zeus wisely. I put some sleeping powder in some ambrosia and mixed it all up, and I gave it to him. Here is a gift! Zeus drank the whole thing, then he fell asleep. It was so much sleeping powder it would kill like 60 mortal people and like 30 dame gods. But it just made Zeus fall asleep because he was the powerful of all the gods. I pulled out the silver stake. It glinted in the light from the moon. I could see Zeus's reflection on it sort of like in a mirror. He was actually kind of hot for an old guy, so I didn't want to carry this evil murder deed. But what choice did I have? Octavius would kill Haley if I refused. My heart was broken and divisive. Suddenly, the wisdom of Mayus spoke to my heart, and I knew I had another choice. I went to the elevator and rushed back down to the Roman camp and flunged open the door. Did you kill Zeus? Octavius snitted, smiling with evil because he could control me to do what he wanted. With the most powerful demigod of the age, he would rule the world. Yes, I lied wisely. Did you bring back his heart in a box? Octavius asked. It's for proof that he is acutely dead and not just pretending to be dead or anything. I lied. I didn't kill Zeus. But I'm going to kill you, mother e-fucker one, I yelled. I pulled out my handgun really fast and shot him right in the leg. Then when he fell over, I put the stake through his heart. See, because that's what he wanted me to do to Zeus, but instead I did it to him. Oh, poetic justice. That is wonderful. Such brilliant writing. Where's Hazel? Is she safe? I gritted in my teeth. But he was dead, and so he didn't say anything yet. Oh. My heart sunk. What if he lied and he shot her anyways? I opened the torture room door. I relieved... Oh my god. No. I relieved myself. Hazel was still alive. She was just tied to a chair, so I untied her and let her go. Where's Octavius? Did you kill him? She said. Yeah, also Zeus is alive, I explained. So the chapter is called Death in Olympus, but no death happened in Olympus. Wow. Author's note. I'm not ruining the characters. I'm showing how there is darkness and depravity in their souls under the happy parts, okay? None of them are perfect. They have flaws. Haley could not beta this one. She's not here this weekend. Chapter 30. The Gladiator Rink. Now I no longer needed to kill Zeus anymore, but before I could breathe reliefully, some Roman dame gods busted open the door and they saw Octavius was dead, and there was a big stake sticking out of his heart, and there was a gun right in my hand. I was framed. Framed? You did it! You were the one who killed him. Rhena was the girl in charge of the Roman camp. She glared at me wrathfully with dark eyes of sheer hate. You mudred. You mudred Octavius. He wanted me to kill Zeus, I explained, But Reyna interrupted me. She took out a big sword made from empirical gold and pointed it at me. I challenge you to the Gladiator rink. That's how the Romans did because there were no police. They challenged you to a fight instead, and if you won, that means you were innocent from the crimes. Fine, we will fight, I yelled. Okay, you have 1 hour to get dressed and everything, said Reyna, and she went away. First, I went in a room and striped until I was all naked. Ugh. But first, I put metal sheets in front of the windows, cause the camp was full of pervs. Then I put on a metal bra made from iron and steel with the mark of Artemis. It was blessed from the gods, so nothing could go through it. Then I put on a matching leather skirt with silver studs to go around the waist. Lastly, I put on silver gauntlets that were spiky and metal, like Wolverine from X-Men. Then I went to the Gladiator rink. Reyna was there, and she had like 60 cheerleaders and many fans. They cheered for her blood 30. They cheered for her blood 30, waiting for death. Hazel and Jason and Frank and Leo were my fans, and they were all dressed in black to show their supportment for me. My heart sunk deeply because Percy was not there, but then it burned dark because I was filled with anger at him. Reyna took her gold sword and said, "Are you ready?" "I was ready when I saw you rise from the dust of earth," I said, all badass. Then Julius Caesar, a Roman guy, came to... What? He just... Oh my god. A Roman guy came to explain the rules of gladiators. If Flavia beats Reyna but does not kill her yet, the audience can vote. The fight is on this billboard. If you click the thumbs up button, she will not kill her, but if you click the thumbs down, she will die. Reyna yelled her battle cry. "Rome is my home one!" But my battle cry was like this. "Bibam sanguinum tuum." That is real Latin. Look it up if you don't believe me. First, Reyna swung her sword in a glitter arc of deadly gold and missed because I moved away quickly. Then I cut at her leg with Agamemnon, but she kicked sand on my eyes. I flashed in anger and bared my Impusa fangs. She tried to cut me with her gold sword, but I was too fast for her to cut me. We were both fighting really fast, so we were like a blur. Suddenly she tried to cleave my head, but I kicked her like a ninja, and she flew like 30 feet backwards, but she got back up and charged with the sun, glintering on the empirical gold sword. Suddenly I looked, and Percy was there watching the fight. I looked in his eyes suddenly. Our eyes gazed together, and I was filled with a burst of energy to kill. I took the lightning bolt from Zeus and threw it at Reyna, and there was a big expulsion in blue light, and then she was no more. Reyna just died. You know, that's the crazy part, because Reyna's actually one of the better characters from the Heroes of Olympus. Hannah clearly doesn't think so, though. The audience started to cheer. I was the new Roman camp leader now. Brilliant. Chapter 31. Dark Revolution. Now I was the queen of all the Roman camp, and it fitted me suitably. The first thing I did now was to tell all the dame gods to look for the word to defate the words of death. 10 I forbidded preps. Nextly, I turned the temple of Aphrodite into a hot topic. Also, I got a leather toga that flown in the wind. It was black and kind of ripped on the edges. I stood majestically on the temple to Artemis, and No. I stood majestically on the temple to Artemis, and I twarked majestically to taunt uprisers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hazel stood next to me and she became my right-hand man, except she was a girl, not a man. Duh. Oh my god. Thanks for clearing that up, Hannah. I never would have guessed. I walked to the temple for Artemis and made a sacrifice. I sacrificed a pair of black high-top Converses, and soon Artemis apparated on top of the altar. What dost thou do here? What dost thou do here? She reprimanded. Where's the word of death? I asked her. It is in the camp. More I cannot say, she explained, sorrowfly. Suddenly I looked close at the altar. I saw someone wrote on it, the word to destroy the word of death. But I can't say what it is, 'cause it's too powerful for you to know. Now Kornos will die, I smiled, cold like a snow. A tear exploded gently from Mayus's eye. Yes, now he must die. Why are you crying? You should be happy and celebrating, I said. But there's something thou should know. Kornos is your father, Mayus said. Well, fuck, I said. Anytime there's some big revelation in my life, I'm just gonna be all like, well, fuck. Chapter 32. Artemis Quest. Artemis just said that Kronos was my father. I was horrified. This must not be true. You're lying, I exploded to Artemis. No, it's true. He is thou father, she explained to me. But you're a virgin, I reminded her wisely. Here we go. Yes, I'm still a virgin. It's just I hated Kornos so much my hate for him overflowed, and thou wast born, said Artemis. See that, flamers? She's still a virgin now. You can stop flaming about it. But how can I kill him now since he is my dad? I wondered. Thou must steal thou heart, see he is evil and must be slayed, said Artemis. Well, now I have the word that can defeat the word of death, I said, but then I remembered that Kornos was still looking for other half of the word of death. Kornos is still looking for the other half of the word of death, I said. Artemis' eyes blazed fierily. Thou must stopest him first. How will I do that? I asked. Thou must slayst him. Artemis gave me a sword made from steel in the heart of the moon on a darkest night foraged in the tears of stars. It was so sharp it could cut through pearls. The handle part was lucid and sliver. It glowed like the radius moon, but the sharp part was black and deathly. It was 5 feet long. 5 feet of deathly. Stapest him in thou heart, said Artemis, 'cause her hate for Kronos was strong and like burning fires. Then we will be revenged, and thou will be a goddess. Yes, he will die, I agreed with her. But there is a problem. Excuse me. But there is a problem. I don't know where he is now. He is marching north, Artemis explained. I will quest for to kill him, I said. But Percy has to come with me. Artemis' eyes glowed from oppressed rage. Thou love him? In that minute, wise words from Hazel swum into my mind like an electrical revolution. But I must follow my heart, and my heart says, yes, I love him. When I spoke this, I knew it was true. But thou cannot be a goddess if you are not a virgin. Only virgins can be goddess, she yelled. But Hera is not a virgin, I explained. That's because all the other goddesses are fucking sluts. That's why Aphrodite has like 6666666 kids, said Artemis. But I love Percy. Tears crawled in my eyes like small crystals of stone. Artemis' heart stormed with pity. Fine, thou maybe might keepest thou BF Percy, if thou does a great deed. What is this deed? I asked. Thou must steal Cupid's bow and arrows of love and keep them for 1 whole day, she said. This way there willest be more virgins and maybe less sexing. I knew to accomplish this, I musty go to Olympics. Wow, peak storytelling might cry from the beautiful words used in intense subversion of my mind. You said it. See, the bourbon is masking my emotions, but really I am actually crying on the inside from the beauty. Excuse me. I'm not racist, okay? Leo is pale because he is wearing a lot of foundation, not because he's white. I did not say he was white. Yeah, so apparently, Leo Valdez, the character in Heroes of Olympus, is Hispanic. But, I guess Hannah depicted him as white, but then had to walk it back and say he was actually wearing a lot of foundation. So, really, what you got is a Hispanic dude wearing whiteface. Never thought I'd have to say those sentences. Chapter 33. The Runes of Love. I went to Olympus flanked with Percy and Hazel, also Jason. I held my sword high, its blade glamored in the sun. Also, I was wearing an outfit from Hot Topic. If you want to see what it looks like, it's on my profile. Had his sword Riptide that actually was acutely a pen, except it was really a sword made from celestial bronze. It was strong and sharp like sharks from Tessees. Hazel had a lot of poison rubes she put in her pockets. Lastly, Jason was there, and he had an empirical gold spear that was money when he threw it. What? He was wearing a purple He was wearing a purple shit that said Twilight Sparkles and skinny jeans, but not black skinny jeans, because he was not a gothic membership. I knew he was hot, but only in the way you think your brother... Hold up a second. I missed this part. I knew he was hot, but only in the way you think like your brother is hot. Not like how you think your BF is hot. Wow. You know what? Oh, you're freaking out in the chat right now. You know, Hannah, it's okay to not put every one of your thoughts in the fanfic. You can backspace, you know. Like, backspace keys do exist. Freud laughing happily in his grave. True. Very true. Damn Alabama level of writing. Nice. Anyway. We went to quest to Olympus. Soon... soon we were there soon. We got on the dark elevator, and Evanescence tunes played mistrelessly. How we will steal this bow and arrows? Asked Jason. Cupid lives in the runes of love, I explained with the wisdom of Artemis that poured knowledge to my ears like molten silver poured into a mold for a mighty and keen weapon. We will go there and distract him, so when he is distracted, I will garb the bow and arrows from him. Then we will go to Terroman camp and hide them. Percy nodded. This is a wise plan. Truly you have a correct knowledge. But how will we distract Cupid? Said Hazel, all worried. We will distract him with the sexliness. I explained my plan to them. Haley is sexy and hot. See, this is what I meant. This is what I meant when she, projects her friend Haley onto Hazel. Now she mentions, now she substitutes Hazel and Haley right here. Haley is sexy and hot. She will wear this leather corset mini dress with black... Oh my god. Seriously, the rampant, describing these teenagers as sexily is really starting to skeeve me out. I'm sorry. She will wear this leather corset mini dress with black lace, all on the edges, and sliver studs. Cupid will want to get her number and talk to her and make out. While he is distracted, I will grab the bow and arrows from him. But in case Cupid swings to the other side of the street, we will use Percy because Percy is very haughty and sexually attractive. Wow. But what if he is asexual, said Jason. He is to God of love. He is not fucking asexual, I yelled patently. Suddenly the elevator stopped going and the doors opened up until we could see in front of us was the runes of love. It was a desperate wasteland. Fog misted on the ground and it was very dark, so we could not see very much. It was a good thing my Impusa eyes were sharp, just like my fangs, and I could see through the fog. There was also lots of stones and rocks all around the place. Also pillars and stuff. Keep your eye open for Cupid, I forewarned Percy and Hazel and Jason. We split it up into teams so we could look better for Cupid. Hazel and Jason went on that way, and me and Percy went on the other way. I took my sword and used it to make light because of the dark fog that misted towards us. Suddenly a finger came out from the mist. It was a hot guy, maybe 17 years, with long black hair that was straight and streamed in the air behind him like misted waves or Timane of a wild black Stallone. Also, he had big wings that sweep from his arms like wings of a raven of death. They were made of feathers and they were black. Also, his eyes were red like a breaking heart. He was wearing a leather toga because he was Greek, and his muscle chest was viable and pale like obsidian. But then I saw he had a big bow and arrows made from all gold, and I knew this was... Cupid! OMG, why are you trespassing, you fucking trespassers? He yelled in a way that was angry and sexy. He was the goddess of... He was the goddess of love. So no matter what, he was sexly. I steeled my heart. I knew I must think wisely and take the bow and arrows. Author's note. I was all tired when I write this one, so there might be some mistakes in there, okay? Don't be a flamer. Wow. Chapter 34. I steal the bow and arrows from Cupid. I steeled my heart. I knew I must think wisely and take the bow and arrows. To do this, I must be clever and brilliant. But suddenly, a genius plan struck into my mind. I must deduce Cupid into kissing me so he would give me te bow and arrows, or else maybe I could grab them. Hey, hot, I explained to him. This was acutely true because he had arbs carved from a cemetery rock gravestone, but all white and crystal looking. Also his hair was black and silky. He got his bow all ready to kill us because he still thought we were trespassers. But when his eyes flashed us deathly, I said nothing to him, but instead I took his firmly chin in my hands and pulled his luxurious lips to mine with great force. Suddenly, Hazel ran by all sexily. Maybe if it was only one person, Cupid would be able to resist te charms of love. But now there was two, and I could see in his head he was panning a threesome already. I forgot about all this. Cupid looks at a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old and thinks about a threesome, which makes Cupid a pedophile. What your name? He asked us. I said, Flavia. And Hazel said, Hazel. And then I said, let's make out. And Cupid said, okay. Firstly, he put the bow and arrows down on a big rock that was there. Quick as lightning, I grabbed him. You're a thief, you fucking traitor, said Cupid. Well, you're a douche, I yelled. Anyway, your name rhymes with stupid. I ran cautiously. Jason and Percy and Hazel followed me. Suddenly, we were running and someone garbed us all. I looked and it was Octavia smiling in a mean way. But you're dead, I thought, I said. No, you are dead, Octavia laughed. No, you. Oh, that is brilliant. No, you are dead, Octavius laughed evilly. He tied us up with rope and like 56 chains. But I stabbed you with a stake in your heart, I explained. Also, I shot you in the legs. Octavius sneered. I was pretending. Anyways, I went to a hospital. Hospital, duh. OMG, you're so mean. You're like Hitler. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Back to the Hitler references. My eyes flashed at him like sliver stars wheeling into galaxy. Let me go and I will kill you, a-hole. You're one stupid bitch, Flavia, lied Octavius, but it was a lie. And now Cupid will kill you, 'cause I told him you're here. I spied on you and know all your dumb plans. Shut up, you liar, yelled Jason. Flavia is smart, and she will kill you. Wow, I'm so scared, Octavius said all sarcastic. Then he put a gag in Jason's mouth so he could not say anything anymore. Suddenly, Cupid came. Where are my bow and arrows? He yelled. These thieves stole them, but they are here now, said Octavius. I steeled my teeth and knew that I must kill him in a painful way when I escaped. Also Cupid, except he was a god and I could not kill him, but maybe I can make him feel white-hot pain from tibbles of the earth. Cupid grabbed the bow and arrows and took them back. Then he glared at us. Let's kill the thieves. Yeah, again. She brings back the out-of-pocket Hitler reference again. I think going blind is a good option. Agreed. This fanfic can't decide if it wants to be involuntary comedy or mega cringe sometimes. Assuming it was written in earnest, of course. Author's note. Lol, you don't know what my words mean. It's called a vocabulary. God, this chapter's long. Fuck me. Chapter 35. I steal the bow and arrows from Cupid and Octavius. We will kill you both in horrifical ways, glared Cupid. He was not very sexy anymore. He looked like that guy that Thor plays, who is fucking ugly, by the way. Loki for the win. OMG, Loki fucking marry me. Oh, she's one of those girls. One of the, what's his name? Tom Hiddleston? One of the Tom Hiddleston fans. Oh my god. Is that's a guy, right? Tom, what's his fucking name? I don't remember. I haven't seen Marvel movies in like years. Anyway. I have a plan, said Jason. We will pretend like we want to join with them, and then we stab them into backs. I knew this means I must seduce Cupid and Octavius bothly. Even though there was like 50 chains tied me up, I was very thin and slender, so my hands slipped through the ropes and I reached in my pocket. So I put on lipstick that was the color of red blood. Speaking of blood, I had to drink a little because I was part Impusa, so Hazel let me suck a little blood from her thumb. Ugh. To blessing of Mayus spilled all over me and I looked suddenly hot. I looked down. I was wearing a new leather corset dress with a neck tat went all the way down to my waist. It had sharp suttles on it from shiny sliver, and it had boots with sliver spikes that could drew actual blood. Cupid blinked all stupid, and I saw that he was blonde. I didn't notice this before, but I knew this cause his heart was shallow and brief. Flamers, Jason is blonde, and he is good, so in your face if you think I made all blondes evil and carp like that. You're hot, he said. I'd be like 66 times hotter if you gave me the bow and arrows you have. They're totally unworthful, I lied with a straight face. I had some darkness in my soul. Not enough so I was evil, but enough so that I was mischievous. Cupid said, No, that is a gift from Zeus, and it contains my powers. My eyes flashed hotly. Maybe I can shoot it at once. I'll return it after. I lied more. Octavius snitted all cruel. She's a lying horse, he lied to Cupid. Cupid looked all sorrowful. How could something be so evil, be so beautiful, like a flower sculpted onto far moons of a summer Olympics night? Summer Olympics night. Ugh. Wow, stupid, said Octavius. You should just kill her with a knife. Love glamored in Cupid's eyes, and I knew he must choose swiftly. He took a big knife from his lion clothes, and he wiped it at me. I knew he wanted me to blink before I died, so I would look weak, but I stared deathly into his eyes like cold ice. At the last minute, he made the knife cut the chains instead. I was free. Let's run away to Olympus, explained Cupid. He stretched his wings and they were black as night, but also gold like till first light in dawn. Just like how there was dark in my soul like night, but there was heroes like the first light in dawn. I thought at first maybe I should go with him and he would carry me when he flew to Olympus to his throne. But I thought, no. This was betrayal to Percy, my one love. I'd rather be a goddess with Percy than a goddess with Cupid. Wow. Now that my sacrifice was made, I took the bow and shot at it. I aimed right in Cupid's heart, and the gold arrow buried deep in his heart, and golden blood splurted high. Tears slivered from my eyeballs in sorrow, for I knew I could have loved him in a different place and a different time. Octavius cringed cowardly. Don't shoot me, you crazy bitch! His tongue dripped with insults and lies. I aimed an arrow at his forehead. "Say you're sorry, you flamer," I growled. "I'm sorry. I just said that 'cause I was jealous," Octavius yelled. I looked at him with scorn on my face. To light and dark battled ferociously in my soul. I wanted to kill him, but I knew I was not evil. "You will be my slave from now on," I said to him. "See, Flamers, she's not evil and she doesn't kill. But she does turn people into slaves." I tied him with chains, and Jason and Hazel made him march in front of me to the elevator by sticking knives in his back enough so it hurt. Jesus Christ. I trumpetly took the bow and arrow and held it high. I stepped on Cupid's corpus on the way out. He was a gullible fool, but he was a god, so he would wake up soon. Hopefully he would have learned his lesson, the man-whore. I knew when my eyes flashed with victory. Artemis was proud of me because I was a Ferris warrior. Ugh, my god. Author's note. I acutely do not read Terri reviews because they're all haters and fueled with hate and jealousy. Anyways, Haley had a dentist appointed. She says she will beta again when she's done. Chapter 36. Artemis gets to bow and arrows. We ran very quick back to the Roman camp. I told everybody to wait for me, and then I went to temple of Artemis. I put the bow and arrow from Cupid on top of the altar, and I made another sacrifice. This time I sacrificed a poser from Demeter. But it's okay because he was dead already. I just found her there. See, I'm not a sociopath. Anyways, the flames misted up toward the sky, which was all orange-red from Tess' sun, which was setting preenly behind a bush. Artemis suddenly apparated on the altar. "Flavia, it warms mine pale heart to see thou return safe." I gave her the bow and arrows, and I said, "Yes, here are the bow and arrows from Cupid. Now I can make out with Percy and still be a godness in Olympus." Artemis shook her head. "I must discuss it with other goddesses firstly." "No, but why?" I said. "Aphrodite won't agree. She says thou cyberbullied Piper and Annabeth," said Artemis sadly. "This was a fucking lie." "That's a fucking lie," I said to Artemis. "Yes, this is so, but Aphrodite is Zeus' fave wife. He feeds on her lies," Artemis proclaimed sorrowfully. "Okay, well, Aphrodite will pay." I said this darkly, because revengeance would be mine sometime, maybe when I went to Olympus next if I saw Aphrodite. "Anyways, I'm glad thou took the bow and arrows. There was no sexing for many moons," said Artemis. "Instead, hearts were wild and free from pervfulness." "Will you return it? I hope you fucking don't. Because Cupid's a douchebag," I yelled. "Well, it's the law, but here thou can have this perfect replication." Artemis gave me a bow and arrow just like it. "If you cut someone and the arrow gets in their blood, they will fall in an instant love spell. That will stay until you want it to stop. This is a power weapon." Anyways, now I had the word to Destory to Word of Death, and also I had the sword from Artemis to stab Kornos with. I gave it a name 10. I called it Asgard. Get it? Like Loki? Asgard. Now I could go quest to kill Kronos, but first I heard Hazel coming up and to me, so I said, "What's wrong, Hazel?" And Haley said, Hey, Haley again. And Haley said, Kornos is attacking to Roman camp in 5 minutes. Dun dun dun. Jesus, this chapter is long. Another long chapter. Author's note. I asked Haley to beta, but she has a flu, so she texted me no, but maybe some other time, so ignore to mistakes. Anyways, I can make mistakes if I want, cause I don't own my life's one. Also, what is Brapple and Gumblick? Or is that prepful talk? Brapple and Gumblick. Is that something I'm missing as well? What is this? If someone has the answer, let me know. I don't know what they're talking about. Chapter 37. Captured by Kornos. Kornos was attacking the Roman camp in like 5 minutes, so I needed to be prepared. So I took all my weapons. I had Agamemnon and Telemachus and Achilles and Jacina's Doom, also the sword from Artemis that I now named Asgard, the sliver platred handgun with silver bullets, and the bolt of lightning from Zeus. Now I was prepared for to kill, but not yet, cause firstly I put on armor. It was all made from silver and leather and obsidian that glinted black like Tamoon on midnight snows. It had things like boots with spikes for crushing Emily, a helmet with wicked eye holes that slanted all evil looking. But it wasn't cutely evil, it was to scare monsters in Kronos. Searched it up, Brapple is some currency from Rick and Morty. Oh, and Rick and Morty reference. Someone in the reviews was very high IQ. Now, since I was deathly and sexy from the blessing from Artemis, I went to go see Hazel. She was also wearing armor made from leather and gold. She had a poison knives made from poison rubes and diamonds. She also looked deathly and sexy. Jason was also there. His armor was violet. That's like dark purple, not to girl kind. Also, he had a helmet with a Unicron horn sticking out from the front. Also steel wings sticking out from the back because he would fly. He had an empirical gold spear, and he said, "Hi, Flava," all bronily. And I said, "Hi, Jason and Hazel." Percy came and my heart stopped beating because he was wearing armor that was so hot. It was all black and with green waves of Poseidon churning on his mighty stern. He had riptide too, and it was a sword, not a pen, and it was made from empirical gold that glinted brightfully. He wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could see his dark hair hanging over his sorrowful green eyes that were the color of the storming seas. Hey, Artemis said you can be my BF, but first you must discuss it with the other goddesses, I explained to him. I could see his heart melt swiftly through his dark eyes. Excuse me. "Let's kiss," he said to celebrate, but I said, "OMG, shut up, here comes Kronos." My eyes slitted for to kill, for all I could see now was red, cause from bloodlusting. Kornos was standing there all shiny and golden in his armor. His eyes flashed me with wickedfulness. "You won't kill me because I'm your dad," he glared meanly. "What? Flavia, is this true?" yelled Hazel. I hanged my head. "Yes, but it's acutely a lie. Artemis is still a virgin, but her hate was so strong it overflowed, and I was born." "But this means he is not acutely your dad," Jason explained wisely. The wisdom from this sunk into me, and I drew my sword. "Prepare to die in hell, Kornos!" Kornos laughed, even though he was deep down scared off me. He said "te word of death." A dame god who was standing there garbed his throat and heart and crumbled onto ground. He was dead. 'Cause the word of death. Thank you. I never would have gotten that before. Hannah. Ha ha, now he's effing dead, flamed Kornos. He got ready to say the word again, but this time I said the word to defeat the word of death. Kornos screamed angrily. What did you say, Pep? It means... I lost my... Here we go. It means now your word of death doesn't work anymore, I laughed. I drew my sword and swung it at his head so it would kill him, but he cheated because he ran out of the way. Kornos pulled out his scythe and said, Now I will cut off your head, and Percy, Jason, and Hazel's head also as well. You wish, bro, I said. I threw my handgun at him, but he ducked and it hit a monitor. I got all ready to stab him with Asgard, but suddenly he grabbed Percy and pointed his scythe at his neck. If you try to stab me, I will cut his neck and he will die. Then you will have no BF and you will be a virgin forever like your pathetic mother. My eyes blazed wrathfully. Never, I said. Then throw all your weapons away or he will die when I count to 3, said Kornos. He started to count. 1, 2. Fine, I lied, so I threw all my weapons at Kronos. But he ran all cowardly, so they only hit him into legs. He fell down the ground as Garvity claimed him. Percy kicked him, and Kornos let go of Percy, and Percy was free. But suddenly Kornos said, Monsters, help me. And like 50 monsters jumped out of the bushes and grabbed us. He took us to his evil hideout. That was the Temple of Kornos outside the Roman camp, in the forest so deep no one ever saw it. Then he chained me, Percy, Hazel, and Jason to the wall, and he took a very big club all covered with sharp spikes. Now you will suffer, he yelled. Why? said Jason. 'Cause I will torture you, laughed Kornos. Too bad Leo and Frank will still save us, I explained. No, 'cause they will be dead soon, he said all mistressly. Why? What do you mean? I demanded. I told 6,000 monsters to dig a tunnel under the gates to the Roman camp. In one day they will bust out from underground and slay all the dame gods, and I will rule the Roman camp. This is my secret plans, said Kronos. I knew I needed to warn the Roman camp before this happened. I had to escape, but how? Kornos took all their weapons and locked them up in a box. I had no choice. I must appeal to Luke if he was still alive inside Kornos. Luke, don't kill us. Remember, you were my BF. Tears withered down my cheeks as I remembered 10 memories. Luke is dead, said Kornos. Now I'm just using him for his body. It makes no difference, I said all sexily. I was trying to seduce him, in case you can't tell by now. Untie me and we can make out. You can kill my friends and everything. But it was a lie. I was going to kill him firstly. Kornos shook his head. There is no love in my heart, just evil, so I can't make out anyways. He took something from Jason's pocket. It was a Fluttershy plushie. Excuse me. Octavius will sacrifice this, and then he will sacrifice you and read 10 message of the gods in your liver and stuff. Octavius came out and he was holding a knife. My teeth gritted because he was my second worst enemy, not counting Kornos. Octavius glared and he cut the full Tershi plushie's throat. Stuffing dripped out like blood. 10 he went to Jason. I knew I must act, but I was chained to the wall. How could I do this? I had a wise idea all suddenly. I tripped Octavius. This is so stupid. I tripped Octavius with my feet, with all my strength. I broke one of my hands out of the chains, and I garbed his knife and pointed at him. Let us go, Kornos, or I will kill your minion, I yelled. Kornos had no choice. He untied me and Percy, and Jason and Hazel. Wait, how do you sacrifice a plushie? So, in the actual books, Octavius is the Augur of the, is it Augur or Augur? I think it's Augur, whatever. He's kind of like a oracle for the Roman camp, and back in Roman times, they sacrificed animals and read their entrails. But because, this is a Percy Jackson book, Octavius sacrifices stuffed animals. So that's why. That's where that comes from. Kornos had no choice. He untied me and Percy and Jason and Hazel. 10 I laughed. I plunged the knife in Octavius's guts. He disrevved it. It's not a sociopath, cause it was for the great good. Anyway, he didn't die all the way. Then I pointed the knife at Kornos all badass. If you chase us, you will suffer the wrath of the goddesses. Never, said Kornos. I swung my sword at him. I knew now this was a duel. Whew. What's a pony jar? Yeah, I'm just gonna advise you to Google that on your own, but be sure to do incognito mode. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Thank God this chapter is short. Author's notes. Haley loves this story, okay? She's not lying. I text her and she said she was telling the truth. Anyways, flamers, keep flamin'. I ignore you all. I have many fans. They don't comment yet cause the flamers cowered them. But they will rise soon and you will be proved. LOL. Chapter 38. Mayus' wise advice. I was having a duel with Kornos. He laughed in a mean way and advanced on me with weaponry, but I had more weaponry. Also powers. Death! He yelled angrily like a great turtle in pain. Stuck it! I laughed sarcastically. Except I'm a girl, so he couldn't really. You will suffer nightly, Kornos yelled. I flipped him off trumpetly. Loser! I said this to make him mad. Firstly, I stabbed him in the left knee and he grabbed his scythe and swung it fast in my head, but I got out of the way with swiftness like a silver deer bonding gracefully, except more like a wolf, 'cause they're hunters. And all quickly I loaded my bow with 6 arrows and I fired it at Kronos. They sped it at his heart to spew blood flow, but suddenly he missed it away. All the arrows killed the rest of the monsters that were there. But Kornos was gone, 'cause he missed it away. Come back and fight, you coward, I yelled, but he did not. His heart was meddled with fear. Fear from me, 'cause now I was a powerful demigod. The prophecy was true when the oracle said, of demigods, the ones on the quest will be the best. I knew she spoke of me. Too bad Kronos missed it away, said Percy, all sensitive. He should be dead now. I will kill him later, and there will be no mercy this next time, I said, all warrior-looking. Suddenly, Artemis shimmered in a sliver lighting ray. Flavia, I have news for thou, she said. OMG, are you done discussing it with the other goddesses to see if Percy can be my BF? I yelled. No, bro, you actually looked up Pony Jar. No, everyone, F in the chat for Rocky Studios. Please, just anyone who's listening, just F in the chat for Rocky. Yes, we consulted longly. Hera said it's not legal, but Zeus said thou art hot and hot people should have the right to make out with other hot people, Artemis explained. I was so happy, for only once in my life now was I following the sliver path of happiness and fulfillment. It was like when there's a dark star at the end of the misting fogs of troubles, but this was not to be. Artemis hanged her head sadly. Alice, Aphrodite got thou final vote, since she art the goddess of love and of BFs and stuff. Anyway, she says thou fightested with her daughters, Annabeth and Piper. My heart swelled at this lie. Gossip was truly evil, like a many-branched root. That's another fucking lie, I yelled. Annabeth was bullying me. I had no choice to fight, and it was self-defense. I know, right? They're stupid preppy blondes. Their thoughts are like rabbits fleeing from a wolf. Thou art the wolf, Artemis said wisely. Oh, here we go. This is it. You ready? Suddenly the wisdom of Artemis whispered into my ears, and I knew she was right. I was te wolf. Boom! Greatest line of all time. I was te wolf. Brilliant. Actually, freaking brilliant. Chapter 39. We're gonna stop at 40, by the way. Okay, we're gonna do we'll do 20. We did 20 chapters last time. We're gonna do 20 chapters this time. So this is the second to last chapter. Chapter 39. The Cupid bow and arrows replication. Artemis misted away from the temple, so I expulsed quietly. Now when I was outside, inner strength swept in my veins like silver fluid. It was te energy of the goddesses. Suddenly I heard a prepful voice speaking of hate. Piper was standing there and she was mocking Leo in her flame and fuel jealousy. Lol, you're a Moran, she snitted Corley. Stop bullying him, you fucking bully, I yelled authoritatively, so she had to obey. So Piper flippy me off with her middle finger, but I flipped her off harder. She took out her little mirror knife, but it was wimpy and preppy and not big and stately like my sword, which was like 6 times as long. Is this a duel? 'Cause if it is, you're going to get your ass wiped, I yelled. But Piper was cowardful. She yelled for help, and Annabeth came out from some bushes. She was dressed in bright pink and purple One Direction shirt that I would never wear. Also red Nile polish, but not blood red, cherry red instead. Her hair was long and blonde and slutty. Lol Flava, my mom Aphrodite said you can't be a goddess anymore unless you stay an internal virgin, she laughed preply. I was so angry that everything looked black and red like tonight and death. I pointed my sword at her. You better run away before I change you to a duel, 'cause you will lose greatly. Annabeth was scared of me, so she said, Come on, Piper, let's look at some prep magazines. Magazines. And she and Piper left until they were gone. Why were they bullying you? I asked Leo, all sensitive. He was hot and he was not white. You know, fun fact, if you go to the Rick Riordan wiki, you look up a Leo's page, all it says is, he was hot and he was not white. Fucking brilliant. He was Mexican and he had a little foundation. So he looked kind of pale. Also some black eyeliner. I pondered if he was gothic, but he had his own dark secrets. It's 'cause I confessed my love, he admitted. OMG, you're in love with Piper and Annabeth? I yelled. I was ready to do with him and win. No, they're stupid whores. My love's a dark secret. I love the aggro too. Or the night death arrow, since you called it that. But it's just a ship. I wish it was a girl or even a boy. I'm not pick. Oh! Oh my god! Leo is bisexual in this fanfic, guys. Holy shit. Oh my god, what a freaking revelation. Freaking, like, character redefinement right there. I hate when women just become horses. Same here. happens a lot to me for some reason. Said Leo with his eyes like depth pools of sorrow. I knew he was sad because now he could never acutely make out or anything because it wasn't alive. He could just sit there and stare soulful at his ship, but it would never return his lovin'. This sucks for you. I said what? Oh, that hurt. Oh man, that one was especially stupid. This sucks for you, I said wisely. 10, I had a very smart idea. Mayus gave me the replication of Cupid's bow and arrows. If I cut Leo with it, there would be an instant love spell that would make him fall in love. Maybe if he fell in love with a person, then he wouldn't have to love to ship. How much is love worth to you? I asked him. He gave me $100, but he paid me with pesos because he was Latino. Oh, I'm gonna stab myself in the eye with an arrow again. Good grief. I took a golden arrow of Cupid, except it was a replication, but it worked anyway. I made him hold out his arm and I cut him and blood fountained out. Red on the green grass like pain in a feld of wind-brown leaves. Wait, who will I fall in love with? He said. You will see, I explained. But what if it's someone I don't like? He said, all worried. That's okay, 'cause the potion makes you love Tem, I explained. Then I grabbed Hazel and said, let me cut your hand. And she said, okay. So I cut her hand, and her eyes looked at Leo's eyes, and suddenly there was love. They started making out, and I knew I had done a wise and good deed. Wow. So I'm rereading Mark of Athena now. There's like some tension between Hazel and Leo. You know, Hazel is technically Frank's girlfriend, but there's tension because Leo is the great-grandson of a guy that Hazel used to fall in love with because she grew up in the 1940s. I'm curious, if anyone in the chat right now is like part of the Percy Jackson fandom, like do people like ship Hazel and Leo like more than they do Hazel and Frank? So I'm curious. Anyway, oh, Jesus Christ. Long chapter. But this is a chapter we're going to end on, okay? So this is the last chapter. And then we will call it a night. Author's note. The spelling in this chapter is kind of fooked up because I'm tired from all to consumerism is depressing me. Christmas is the preppest holiday, but Halloween for the win. Chapter 40. Rebellions. Now there was nothing to do except wait for Kornos, cause he might probably attack again some. Then Hazel said, tell me about your Chiladehood. Hazel said to me, cause since she was my BFF, I wanted to know this. I was only a baby when I was born. But I gotten older and also hotter. No way. Oh, I cannot believe I just read that sentence. I was only a baby when I was born. Ugh. But even as a baby, I was slim and pale, not looking like a fucking tomato like all te other babies. Even as an infant, she still thinks she's hot. God, Freud is like crawling out of his grave right now to psychoanalyze this bitch. Good lord. Ugh. But Mayus couldn't let te other goddesses know she had a baby, cause then they would think she broke her vow and call her a slut. So she let me live on the streets. She had no choice. Anyway, this foster parents adapted me, but they were born mortals. Anyways, they were cruel and also neo-Nazis. Just casually reveal that her adoptive parents were neo-Nazis. They were racist about me because my hair was not blonde like their fucking preppy daughter. This was racist and bad. She bullied me, so I burned all her prep magazines with a big fire and I laughed in her blonde face. I explained with wiseness and sorrow glowing soulful in the chorus of my sliver soul. Also, I cut her hair off with big and sharp scissors, and it grew back ugly and brown. Your life is indeed a dark and lonely path. My life is fairy tale compared to yours. No, that is not true. That if you read Son of Neptune, that is not true in the slightest. Hazel has one of the most like fucked up backstories of anyone in a Percy Jackson book. Jesus Christ. Hazel said all sensitive cause her life was not as deprived as mine was. She'll never beat the allegations. True. Well, I'm glad I'm just a brony and ignorant of the darkness of lives, said Jason. He was a prep, but he could feel to dark inside. When Octavius sacrificed the Fluttershy plushie, some of the darkness of life seeped into Jason's soul, and some of te prepfulness leaked out and was dissipated by the winds of fate and destiny. Suddenly we were bored, so we went to the temple of Hot Topic so we could ship for some clothes and stuff. I got a lot of golden money coins from the Roman camp because I was the leader, because I defeated Reyna to old leader in a duel. Like in chapter I had lots of money so I could buy a lot. Oh Jesus. Last online was December 24th, 2019, so either the pandemic got her ass or it was her peers. I'll tell you what I think happened. She was online December 24th. December 25th rolled around, and for Christmas, she got medication. She started taking the medication, and all of a sudden she stopped making fanfiction. So that's what happened. So first I bought a hat that was black and velvet. It made me feel unecky. What? Unecky? Because I was... unique. Jesus Christ. Because I wasn't mindless copying to same style like all the other dame gods. They were all born and sameful like sheeps in their togas, lol. Also some coal to make my eyes look big and dark and sliver. 10, I put on crescent moon earrings all silver, and one more earring that was shaped like a drop of human blood. I was feeling very impulsiful that day, so I was super pale, and my lips were like a rainbow of only... A rainbow of only red. I was so sexily that if I was a... I was so sexy that if I was a hot guy, I would have make out with myself. Good God. Every chapter of this I read. One more day in purgatory. I could feel all the eyes of all the daemons looking at me with jealousy and or lust. I flipped them all off, and they could not be angry because I was ruler of them all. Kneel before me, preps, I yelled just like Loki. Oh my fucking Artemis, Loki, he's awesome times combusted. And they did, but I smelled conspiration in them. There was some plotting to get me overthrown. But since I was the ruler now, I also had Hazel to be second in command, and also there was an old guy who spoke of wisdom. His name was Socrates. He was kind of like Dumbledore. But he was an oracle. I consulted him about conspiration. Thou mustard go and find conspirationers, and show them thou art in charge of this place, he oracled to me. But how will I know who these demigods are? I asked darkly. Thou heart knows, so you must follow it, and it will tell thou what thou knows, 'cause hearts never lie, Socrates advised. And thou should bring thy weapons too. Then I took Asgard in my hand, and I hid all the other weapons in my bra. This girl's bra is like Snoopy's doghouse. It can carry everything. I went quick to the Hot Topic and got a black cape that swished around me when I walked, and it made me look all badass. Also, Socrates walked behind me with the big staff because he was a witch doctor too. I marched into the middle of the demigods and demanded, who wants to challenge me to be ruler of the camp? These posers from Demeter snitted loserly. I overlooked them because they were just clearly sheep following to orders of another. They were not the rulers of the conspiration. But how would I know, for I garbed an Apherodite guy with some silver pliers by his you-know-what. And yelled in a mighty voice that it was like the mighty thundering of Zeus, who's ruler of conspiration? He was irradiated. Stop it, he yelled. I don't know anyways. Thou liest, thou douche, yelled Socrates. Thou liest, thou douche. Okay, I'm lying acutely. You know it's Annabeth and Piper. They're dating Octavius, and they're all planning to assassinate you and take over to camp. So I let it go of him. OMG, Octavius is a fucking pygmeist, I yelled. That means he was dating two girls at the same time. Also, I thought he was dead. I stabbed him or something. Octavius snitted malely. I survived. Piper fixed me. I looked at Piper wrathfully. I knew she would soon ruin this act of treason. Anyways, it was punishable by death sentence. So I took Drakina's doom, and very quick I shot a sliver arrow at Piper. It hit her into neck, and she died. But just in case, I made sure I threw lighting of Zeus at her, and she dispersed, and she was dead. 'Cause it's about fucking time I stayed fucking dead. That was the first self-aware moment in this story. I'm not even kidding. OMG, you're a mudredder, yelled Annabeth. She pulled out Tip Prep, you little knives. She had like 60 Dame God rebellions who followed her and all pulled out their swords. Octavius pulled out a big gold gun and aimed it for me. That's cheating. It didn't matter, because anyways, I kicked it like a ninja out from his hands. It fell onto ground and went off. It shot like 2 of his followers. Lol. Now I knew to final confirmation with to traitors was began. Wow. Holy crap. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to stop there. We are at chapter 40. There are 32 chapters left. We have gone through so much, yet there's still so much to do. So, what I think we're going to do, tentatively, we're going to plan for, I think Wednesday night again, to do another 20 or so chapters. And then I'm thinking maybe Saturday night, this coming Saturday, we will finish up entirely. So that's the plan from now, from here on out. I hope it's a good plan. How are you all feeling? I personally, like, we're over halfway through. We might as well finish it over the next few days, so yeah. Alrighty then. I'm out of bourbon too. Whatever. Okay, well, you know, I'm telling you, like, if it goes according to plan, if we do like 20 chapters on Wednesday and then the final 12 on Saturday, maybe we'll do something else on Saturday on stream. Who knows? I'll think of something. Anyway, that said, I'm gonna log off for the night. I unfortunately have to get back to my job tomorrow, which sucks. However, I also have Labor Day off, Labor Day week off, so I'm gonna be gone with family during that whole week. So I'll let you all know what the plan is for the channel later on after that, but until then, we'll see you all next time.